Good evening and welcome. We are so excited to share the progress of the new Robert Smalls International Academy with you today. We are happy to have this time to get your input and ideas on the design. Thank you so much for your time and participation. My name is Dr. Celestine Levan, and I'm the principal of Robert Smalls International Academy. I will be your co-host this evening today, and we will also hear from other members of the school, the design, and construction teams. Most importantly, we want to hear from you. There will be various times during the meeting when we will be asking for your participation, and we will be going over the logistics in just a minute. This evening, we will introduce you to key members of the design and construction team. We will review and provide feedback from the first community meeting in July, and we will present the current design for the site, the building exterior, and some of the ways in which we're planning to honor Robert Smalls and the history of the school. At the end of the presentation, we have reserved time for discussion and feedback. Before we begin the presentation, I would like to review the virtual meeting guidelines so that you are familiar with the process. Note that we are currently recording the meeting so that we can post it to the district and school websites, as well as YouTube for those of you not able to join today, or for those who want to review it later as well. You are also probably noticing that you've been muted and cannot unmute yourself, and that is primarily to control the noise that might affect everyone's ability to hear the information tonight. However, your input is extremely important to us, and so we will be inviting you to participate during the meeting via a poll of 10 questions and the ability to chat by posting your questions later in the meeting. Note that you cannot chat right now. However, as we go through the presentation, it would be good for you to be thinking about questions you would like to ask so that you're ready to type when the chat is open. Unfortunately, for those who have joined us by telephone call only, you will not be able to participate in the poll or chat. If you would like to provide comments or have additional questions, we encourage you to reach out directly to the contact listed at the end of this presentation. I would like to take a few moments to acknowledge a few key people. Thank you to the Beaufort County School District staff facility team, our construction managers, CBRE Heary, and our superintendent, Dr. Rodriguez, who unfortunately was not able to join us this evening, but whose continued support has proven invaluable. And I would also like to acknowledge our dedicated school board members, and especially our district representative, Colonel Richard Geyer. Thank you. Thank you for taking time to be with us this evening. Your continued support and engagement throughout this process is greatly appreciated and means the world to our school community. I would also like to introduce members of the design team who have put together the design and presentation you are about to see tonight. The architects from LS3P, Eric Eichel, Nikos Katifas, Cameron Quick, Kristen Webb, Jasmine Jarvis, Jen Boyles, and John Hughes. The civil engineer from Ward Edwards, Connor Blaney, and the landscape architect from J.K. Tiller, Josh Tiller. We will be hearing much more from this team in just a bit. But first, I would like to turn it over to Brian Ferris from J.E. DUNN to introduce the construction team selected for this project.
Thank you so much, Dr. Levan. I can say from our J.E. DUNN Brownstone team that it is a pleasure to be here this evening, and we're completely honored to have been selected as a construction management team for this iconic project for Beaufort County School District and the Robert Smalls community. The team we have on the screen today, led by Dale Collier and myself, are already hard at work. David Newland and his pre-construction team are analyzing the documents LS3P has prepared, while Miguel Camacho is assisting in community outreach to ensure we maximize both local and MWBE participation. Our boots on the ground, lead superintendent Dave Pape, David Botter, our project manager, and Rihanna Coggins, our project engineer, have already met with Dr. Levan and her team to understand the current campus logistics and discuss construction needs throughout the different phases of the project. This early planning is significant and will mitigate disruptions during the construction process. The J. DUNN and BROWNSTONE team understands the importance and reverence that lives with the Robert Smalls name, and we look forward to constructing a facility this community can be proud of for many, many years. Before I turn it over, for any trade partners or vendors or subcontractors on this call that are interested in this project, there's a Beaufort County School District subcontractor job fair at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, November 19th at the Beaufort County Black Chamber of Commerce Multiplex building. We hope to see everyone at the event and meet any interested contractors that we have not already spoken with. Now I'd like to turn it over to Cameron Quick from LS3P to provide a recap of the feedback from your first community meeting.
Thank you so much, Brian. At our first community meeting in July, we talked about the early listening sessions conducted by the school with key stakeholders. We looked at the rich history of Robert Smalls and the school itself. We showed a very early concept of how the existing site could be designed to accommodate a new school. And most importantly, we received an incredible amount of feedback and participation from you, the Robert Smalls community. We asked you 10 poll questions, ranging from the name of the school to which spaces were most important to you. From your feedback, we learned that the best way to honor Robert Smalls and the history of the school is through a museum type entry space and with elements distributed throughout the school. You are interested in a variety of ways to honor Robert Smalls and the history of the school, including timelines, murals, and quotes. You told us that a large media center and a stage for performances were the most important spaces to you. You want classrooms with access to the newest technology, daylighting, and room for collaboration spaces. Your community is incredibly engaged in the life of the school and would attend a variety of after-hours events. The athletic fields are a crucial part of the overall site design and that the site must be safe. And finally, that the building should be inviting, modern, and high-tech with colorful interiors. In addition to these poll questions, we got to hear directly from you during the chat portion of the community meeting. Your questions were thoughtful and showed a variety of concerns that have directly influenced our approach to the layout and the site and the building program. Based on these findings and deeper discussions with the Robert Smalls staff and school district, we have developed a list of guiding principles for the design of the new Robert Smalls International Academy. These principles serve as a check throughout the design process to ensure that all our decisions reinforce the goals of this project and meet the needs of the students, staff, and community. Our guiding principles are: 1, pay proper honor to the legacy of Robert Smalls. Saturate the environment with transferable lessons of his life, his exemplary leadership qualities, and his dedication to community service. Trace these qualities through the history of the school and former principal, W. Kent Alston. Number 2, formulate a design that amplifies the school's purpose of leadership and the needs of the students. 3, serve all generations of the at-large community with opportunities for participation and engagement. And 4, create an environment that is appropriately modern, green, and sustainable, one that practices principles of responsible building and itself is a tool for learning. As we move through the rest of the presentation, we hope that you will see that your feedback and these guiding principles are essential to the development of this design. Now, I would like to turn it over to Nikos Katsibas, who will discuss the site analysis and a more detailed phased construction plan.
Thank you, Cameron. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. After the July community meeting, the design team, with the assistance of the school district and the current school administration, took a deeper dive into the existing Robert Smalls International Academy site to truly understand the site's specific characteristics, ecology, buildable area, and current circulation patterns. All these elements provide important layers of information that have informed the building design. We studied the solar, wind, and water patterns on the site. This analysis helped us locate the building to take advantage of solar orientation for energy efficiency and daylighting. The prevailing winds helped inform locations of outdoor amenities, and the existing drainage patterns helped us understand where dry and wet retention ponds would need to be located for a balanced site. This site has some amazing existing features that we want to highlight and preserve. The existing track and field are a key anchor to the site, as well as the grove of trees on the west side of the existing school, which contains beautiful examples of old growth, low country trees. We found the site has many constraints when it comes to a new building area. The site is limited by Robert Smalls Parkway to the south, Broad River Boulevard to the north, property lines with setbacks to the west, buffers that are near wetland locations, and the existing Robert Smalls International Academy School to the east. This diagram shows the area available to work, highlighted in yellow, while keeping both the existing school and the track and field operational. The final elements we need to fully understand, with the incredible assistance of the Robert Smalls staff, was the existing site circulation. This analysis will be used to inform the construction of the new building from start to finish, so there are minimal interruptions to the school's current operations. This analysis also helped identify existing concerns with drop-off, pickup, and parking that we will address in the new school design. Based on this site analysis and on-site meetings with J.E. Dunn, the school district, and current Robert Smalls International Academy staff, we'd like to share with you the proposed phasing for construction of the new Robert Smalls International Academy. These phasing drawings are a graphic representation of these initial conversations and will be updated as the project schedule advances. To provide the best possible result for student and visitor safety and to minimize operational disturbances, J.E. Dunn and the design team will be in continuous contact with the school district and Dr. Levan throughout the construction process. On this slide, in phase one, the west portion of the site will be fenced off to separate the existing school on the east from the construction site. The new southern access road will be constructed, which will ultimately become the bus drop-off loop. Access to the existing school and a path to the existing track and field will remain throughout this initial phase. In phase two, the fence line will be flipped and extended along W.K. Alston Drive to secure the demolition zone, the existing Robert Smalls International Academy. You will move into the new school building while the old building is demolished and replaced with parking lots and ball fields. In phase three, the site's complete. A new baseball field, softball field, tennis courts, basketball courts, and concession buildings and a great lawn are located in the existing Robert Smalls International Academy and will be added to the campus amenities. I'd like to turn it over to Connor Blaney with Warren Edwards and Josh Tiller with J.K. Tiller to present the current site design.
Thank you, Nikos. As Nikos just showed you, the proposed school will be located behind the existing school. The existing track and field will remain, and new parking and ball fields will be located northeast of the building, with an open lawn fronting the main entry off W.K. Alston Drive. The rear of the school will be used as grassed area to provide opportunities for outdoor learning areas and playgrounds. Stormwater detention areas will be evenly spread across the site. Most of the detention areas are anticipated to be shallow, dry detention areas, but the largest two located at the southeast and northwest edges of the property are anticipated to be wet detention ponds, which are highlighted in light blue on the exhibit and would be surrounded by safety fencing. The proposed site layout spreads things out to maximize the full potential of the buildable area, increased parent drop-off stacking, and spread out vehicular access points along W.K. Alston Drive. The current design provides 137 paved parking spaces dedicated to the school and an additional 6 near the ball fields. A grassed overflow parking is being considered for future flexibility and large events. The bus loop, which is highlighted on the exhibit, in a yellow and purple line is located on the southern side of the property and is completely separated from the parent drop-off loop. The parent drop-off loop, highlighted in green, goes behind the new ball fields to maximize the stacking length and minimize the chance of vehicles backing onto WK Alston Drive. The parent drop-off loop was aligned to save as many of the mature oak trees along the proposed building frontage as possible. On that note, Josh, would you like to discuss the landscape architecture plan?
Sure. Thanks, Connor. First, I'd like to discuss a few broad details related to how we plan on dovetailing our landscape into the plan Connor just presented. Then I'll focus on a few areas of interest where the bulk of our landscape will be implemented and experienced. Our proposed landscape will incorporate native plant material and will be implemented in a way that provides for easy maintenance. Native plants require less irrigation and are resistant to disease and insects. Additionally, we'd like to implement a landscape that would represent the type of landscape experienced by Robert Smalls. There are 4 areas I'm going to walk you all through. The first one to the right of the page, you'll see the WK Alston Drive buffer that we'll have to adhere to and enhance to meet the county requirements. At the center of the plan, you'll find the great lawn and grove of trees that Nikos mentioned we're preserving. To the south of that, the great lawn, you'll find a few stormwater best management practices, including some bioswales. Immediately around the school, you will find naturalized areas, courtyards, outdoor learning spaces, and play areas. Okay, next slide. Okay, this is the buffer area. And the county requires that we maintain and enhance the existing buffer. And with the removal of the existing school and access lanes, we're going to need to replant the holes that were left within that buffer. Our plan here is to keep it as natural as possible, and we'll supplement plant material will be designed in a way to blend in naturally with the existing buffer and meet the buffer requirements established by the county. This large, cleared, open lawn occupies a portion of the old school building footprint. This space provides an open vista to the front of the school from WK Alston Drive. The alley of oaks will, over time, provide a framed view of the school's main entrance, an existing grove of trees that we're protecting to the western end of the lawn. The existing grove will be preserved and the ground plane will be maintained as a natural forest floor. The large lawn can be used for public outdoor events or annual field days at the school. South of the Great Lawn, you'll find one of 2 bioswales used for cleaning stormwater runoff. These areas will be planted with native vegetation that help to filter out contaminants. Plants will be both broadleaf and native grasses. These bioswales present a great learning opportunity for the students and provide them with the ability to understand stormwater and the importance of water quality for our local marshes and rivers. The main entrance of the building, there to the right, it's going to include a large paper surfaced entrance plaza. It will be flanked by native plantings and a few existing large live oaks. Pathways extending from that entrance will reach out into the existing grove and take on a more wooded experience. At the rear of the school, you'll find 3 bays between the wings of the building. Within these spaces, you'll find outdoor learning spaces, eating spaces adjacent to the cafeteria, and play areas to the west end of the wings. Now I'd like to hand it back over to Nikos and Cameron to discuss building schedule and present the current building design.
Thank you, Josh. As you can see from the schedule on the slide that's now on the screen, we're currently about halfway through the design development phase of the project. We have received conceptual approval from the Beaufort County Staff Review Team and the Beaufort County Design Review Board. The next phase will be the construction documents, which we will begin and be completed by mid-May, and construction will then begin starting next summer. The entire project is scheduled to be completed by the summer of 2023. As Cameron mentioned earlier, sustainability is one of our guiding principles for this project. Not only is it important to be good stewards of the environment, but it's imperative for the legacy of Robert Smalls and the history of the school that the new Robert Smalls International Academy is designed and built to last for generations to come. We want this building to stand as a testament to the strength, durability, and pride of all those who are part of the Robert Smalls community. Some of the sustainable methods we're using on this project include durable, sustainable, and regionally sourced materials on the interior and exterior of the building as much as possible. Energy efficiency through thoughtful building orientation to minimize east and west sun exposure, which is very similar to the existing Robert Smalls International Academy, which has the same orientation. Sun-shaded windows on the south and west elevations. Having an efficient overall building mechanical system while also providing each classroom its own dedicated heat pump. Continuous insulation with a tight building envelope to minimize unconditioned air infiltration. Sustainable site solutions through tree conservation, stormwater management, and native plantings, as Josh was just referencing. Now we'd love to share with you the overall building organization and layout. The building will consist of 4 wings, which will be connected by a central spine. This organization creates many advantages and exciting features for the new school. With this organization, we can place the main entry at the end of the parent drop-off loop on a ceremonial entry plaza. We can separate program elements for simultaneous after-hour activities. We can place the classroom wings in an east-west orientation for maximum daylighting and limited sun exposure. And we can create an open, inviting public front side of the building and a flexible back rear side of the building for playgrounds and for outdoor classrooms. The southernmost wing of the building serves as the main entrance, administration wing, media center, performing arts, and the cafeteria. You enter the building into a 2-story high lobby space with a monumental stair and immediate access to the media center. The main corridor leads you down to the performing arts classrooms, cafeteria, and the platform for performances. This wing of the building can be locked and separated from the classroom wing for after-hour performances. The northernmost wing holds the athletic functions for the building. A separate entry with adjacent parking allows for easy access after hours for games and events. Also included this wing are locker rooms for students and visitors, a concession area, room for trophy cases, 2 health classrooms, and a large multi-purpose room with direct access to the exterior and a covered play porch. This wing of the building can also be locked and separated from the remainder of the school for after-hour events. The 2 middle wings of the building contain the main academic spaces. Both wings are 2 stories high and contain all the classroom spaces, resource rooms, and visual art rooms. The first floor of both wings contain pre-K through 5th grade, with pre-K through 2nd grade on the south wing of the elementary school, special education, and 3rd to 5th grade on the north wing. The visual art rooms sit between the 2 academic wings for equal access for all students and provide an opportunity for direct exterior access to an outdoor art patio. The elementary school art classroom is located on the ground floor with these other elementary school classrooms. The second floor of both classroom wings contains the 6th through 8th grade and middle school special education, with 6th grade in the north wing and 7th and 8th grade in the south wing. Small breakout areas for collaboration have been incorporated within the wings and resource rooms, and staff spaces have been distributed evenly. The middle school art classroom is located directly above the elementary school art room on the second floor.
Now that Nikos has walked you through the building layout, I'm going to share the exterior design with you. The predominant materials on the building will be brick, metal panel, and a standing seam metal roof. The main brick color will be a soft Savannah moss color that speaks to the low country tradition of neutral marsh tones. A black brick base will ground the building and provide accents at special moments around the building. Horizontal metal panel will be used to separate the main building wings from one another and bring a contemporary aesthetic to the design. A wood look metal panel will also be used as an accent around the building and at the entry canopies to bring warmth to the elevations and harken back to Robert Small's nautical history. Overall, the building forms are simple and speak to traditional low country massing. The classroom wings are a simple gable shape with first floor porches that reach out to the main drive and create a series of courtyards along the drop-off loop. The entry is signified by the 4-columned tower that supports the entry canopy, which is clad in the wood-look metal and profiled like the bow of a ship. This unique shape was inspired by the famous planter. The entry courtyard will host several grand trees that are being saved. It'll provide a direct view into the 2-story lobby where a large graphic will pay tribute to Robert Smalls and display a colorful monumental stair that will infuse energy and movement into the space. Pops of color are incorporated throughout the interior and exterior of the building to bring joy and excitement to the design. As Nico said earlier, the athletic building will have its own dedicated entry for athletic events. This entry will be directly related to the main entry in materials and canopy shape, but will not deter from the prominence of the main entry. In this view, you can see another connecting corridor that will be clad in the horizontal metal panel with more pops of color. This view is the west side of the athletic wing, looking at a covered play porch and west end of the north academic wing. The play porch is accessed directly from the multipurpose room and from the main corridor to provide a flexible space for outdoor activities. A dynamic louvered screen and vibrant pop of color are proposed here to transition between the simple forms of the building into the more carefree playground spaces. This last exterior view shows the north side of the performing arts spaces, cafeteria, and media center. On the right, the cafeteria opens to an area for outdoor dining with a slanted canopy and wood look metal panel. The performing arts space have large windows with high ceilings and a playful mixture of metal panel colors. At the end of the courtyard, the glassy media center sits like a jewel, providing transparency from interior to exterior. In this view, you can also see the exterior connections between the building wings, outdoor classroom spaces, and playground opportunities, which contribute to a lively and safe place for students and staff. Now, let's look at the main lobby space and a few ways in which we are honoring Robert Smalls and the history of the school. Per our guiding principles we explained earlier, we want to layer multiple lessons of meaning throughout the building, and especially the main entry space. As I mentioned earlier on the exterior design, you'll approach the school and enter under canopy that is designed to recall the shape and materials of the planter, the ship that Robert Smalls commandeered to secure him and his family's freedom. As a continuation of these design elements, we decided to memorialize Robert Smalls' journey to freedom and his service to the Low Country with a nautical map inlaid in the lobby floor. The 3 colors of terrazzo are used to depict the land and 2 depths of water. This map will serve as a teaching tool for students and visitors. The map is laid out so that both Charleston and Beaufort are visible on opposite ends of the lobby, and special places and events from Robert Small's life will be highlighted with metal inlays. Next, we wanted to include a large, colorful graphic tribute to Robert Smalls on the main wall of the lobby that will be visible from the exterior and create excitement when entering the space. We explored several options, but ultimately decided on a dynamic portrayal of the planter. This 1.5-story tall graphic speaks to the floor map and other nautical inspirations while bringing motion into the space. The sea extends under the monumental stair, where windows allow views into the media center, and a built-in seating area provides a unique spot for children to collaborate in small groups. Based on our last meeting, we also know how important it is to your community to convey the history of Robert Smalls and the school itself. To capture this rich history, we are proposing a timeline that will begin at the lobby and move down the corridor towards the cafeteria as a series of portals. Each portal will be dedicated to a specific period of time and provide information and context to the viewer. The portals will play with color and height so that every member of the community, no matter their age, can interact with the information displayed. As we get further into the process, we plan to meet with the Robert Smalls Association and other groups to determine what critical pieces of history should be incorporated into the timeline relating to Robert Smalls, W.K. Alston, and the history of the school. All the information displayed will be fully vetted by the Robert Smalls staff, school district, and key stakeholders. It is our intent that the timeline begin with Robert Smalls' life, include dates and events from the history of the school, such as Joe Lewis's exhibition match and Marian Anderson's historic performance, and span to the present day. It is our hope that through this design, students, staff, and visitors will be immersed in the history of Robert Smalls and the school. As you enter the building, you will walk under a canopy inspired in shape and materials by the planter. You'll see a large mural of the ship from the exterior. You'll walk into the lobby and see a map on the floor of some of the critical places in Robert Smalls' life. And finally, you will walk through a timeline that highlights the monumental achievements in his life and that of his namesake school. Now, we know we've presented you with a lot of information this evening, but now we are so excited to hear from you. Before we launch the poll, I want to go over the process. The poll will consist of 10 questions with choices you click to answer, like you see in this example in the upper right of the slide. Note that you can resize the box, showing the poll questions to best suit your viewing. Some questions are single choice, which only allow you to click one answer, like yes or no. Other questions are noted as multiple choice, where you will be able to click more than one answer, so be sure you look for the word multiple choice by certain questions. Once you have completed all your answers, please click the submit button at the bottom of the poll as you see in this image. Once everyone has had a chance to answer all 10 questions, we will close the poll and share the results that will look something like this image in the bottom right of the slide. It will show the percentages of people who answered one way or another. This information will be saved and shared after the meeting on the school and district websites. All right. We are going to launch the poll, and I think we're going to play a little Jeopardy music while we wait. So it looks like we have almost everybody. I'm going to give it one more minute to try and capture anybody out there still working. So please feel free to keep working. We'll look at the results in about 30 seconds. All right, we're going to go ahead and end the poll now so we can share the results with you. It looks like most people were able to complete their answers. If you were unable to complete and give your feedback, there'll be another method for you to do so in a few minutes. Please note that the sharing poll results box window on your screen is under your control. So feel free to expand or move it around that best suits your viewing. Also, please note that you will need to scroll on your own screen in order to see the results. So our first question, we asked, based on what you have seen today, is the proposed design giving proper honor to Robert Smalls and history of the school? So we're so happy to see this, that of everyone that answered, you all said yes. This is fantastic. We're very excited as well. Question 2. What do you like about the proposed site design? This was a multiple choice question. It looks like 50% of respondents said all of the above. So the circulation, playfield quantities and locations, preserving the natural site features, building location and access, and other site amenities, with the preserved trees and natural site features being a key one that most people were really drawn to. Great. Our third question, does the current design sufficiently accommodate after-hours access for community events such as meetings, presentations, sporting events, and music events? The majority of you said yes, that you think it does. The person who answered somewhat, we'd love to hear your feedback on what you think we can do to improve this. Question 4, does the current design account for all the school's critical spaces and functions? Majority of you indicated yes. A few said somewhat. So again, would love to hear your feedback here in a few minutes. And question 5, is the proposed organization of students with the elementary students downstairs and middle school students upstairs successful? Majority of you indicated that yes, it is. Question 6. In the first community meeting, the most important aesthetic features for the exterior were listed as modern, inviting, and high tech. And we asked if you thought the current design achieved those. Looks like 80% of you indicated that it does, with 4 of you thinking somewhat, which is fair. Question 7. In the first community meeting, we heard that a large grand entry was very important. How would you describe the proposed building entry? So several people indicated all of the above, but looks like welcoming was a really big one, which is great. Really wanted it to feel, friendly and exciting for kids and adults. So that is excellent. Question 8, we heard that colorful interiors are very important. Do you feel like the design successfully incorporates this? Majority of you indicated that yes, you think we're getting the colorful interiors going, which is great. So we asked what you liked about the proposed lobby graphic. So 55% of you said all of the above. So the subject matter, the colors, the graphic representation and style, size, and location in the building. And then the last question, we asked what you liked about the proposed timeline graphic for Robert Small's life and the history of the school. 60% of you indicated all of the above. So again, the subject matter, colors, the representation and style of the graphics, the size, and the location in the building. So thank you so much for this incredible feedback. We are going to be documenting all of this and compiling it into our final report. But this is great, and we really appreciate all of your feedback. And we are not done getting your feedback this evening. So please go ahead and close out your own poll window on your screen. And we will now move on to the chat portion of the meeting so that we can answer your questions directly. Nikos, would you like to explain the chat process for everyone?
Yes, thank you, Cameron. Before we open the chat, I'll quickly go over that process. The chat icon is located at the bottom of your screen as shown in the image, or maybe under the 3 dots if you're joining from your phone. Once you click chat, a sidebar will open to the left of your screen that looks like this image on the slide. Notice at the bottom of the sidebar, there's a place for you to type a message here, and the default is for everyone to see it. You will notice that you cannot chat right now, as we will begin opening up the chat ability in just 1 minute. As a friendly reminder, please note that these comments will be visible to everyone, so we ask for your discretion in terms of what might be posted. Note that we will not be answering any questions by typing the answers, but we will be answering as many questions as we can verbally, and then provide written responses as we will post them on the website. All right, we'll now open the chat and give you a few minutes to type in your questions before starting to answer them. Okay, so we got a first question here, Richard, about student capacity. It's about 950 students is the ultimate capacity. So we're planning for a little bit of expansion. Right now, I believe the student capacity is around 700. So we have a little bit of additional capacity for the students. Where is access to the second floor for students and staff with mobility concerns? So on the south wing of the education building, we can go back to look at the floor plans. But on the south wing of the education building, there is a elevator which is really adjacent to the grand stair on the lobby. So it's sort of centrally located. We tried to locate it there to provide, good access towards the cafeteria and the media center side of the building. So right there on that sort of southeast corner of the south wing is where we have the elevator located. Repeat when construction will begin and when you anticipate the school opening. So right now we're about halfway through the design development phase of this project. Then we're going to go into construction documents, which are going to run until about mid-May or so, and then we're going to begin construction during the summer of 2020 and complete in 2020, summer of 2021, beginning construction, sorry, and being complete at the beginning of 2023, and then we have the demolition of the existing Robert Smalls International Academy happening after that.
There's a great question about the mechanical spaces, Nikos. If you want to talk a little bit about the platforms.
Sure. So we don't have them indicated on our drawings, but Above the second floor corridor spaces on the education wings, we are going to have a mechanical platform that's going to have access from the stairwells below. And on those mechanical platforms above the corridor wings of the education buildings, we're going to have all the equipment that is going to serve those education classroom spaces. So we'll have heat pumps for each classroom, as well as the outdoor air units that are going to serve each of the wings. And then above on the media center side of the building, we're going to have a low slope roof above the media center that is going to locate the mechanical equipments that are going to serve the cafeteria and the administration part of the building. And then in the gymnasium part of the building, we're going to have a mechanical platform that's going to be located above where we're indicating the locker room spaces, and that will serve the gymnasium and the multi-purpose rooms.
Okay. Mr. Geyer also asked if we could expand on the status of the permitting process. And maybe Connor, I know Connor has a really good handle of all the different permits we got going on. So do you want to talk for a couple minutes, Connor, about permitting?
Sure thing, that's not a problem. We're currently going through the permitting process. We're still pretty early in the permitting process thus far. But the construction outline that Nico's kind of presented to y'all, the permitting process comes right before that. All the approvals will be attained, in which we are targeting final permits very early in May or just prior. And that'll all kind of finalize, and all the permits will be received right before kind of that construction and bidding process begins.
Excellent. From Liza Weber, we see, when will teachers be able to see the plans? So we'll organize this through Dr. Levan and the Robert Smalls International Academy staff. So we will plan a meeting with the faculty or a sit down, or, but I would imagine Dr. Levan or Ms. Coleman, we can talk about it, but maybe the design development set that is due on December 15th, that would be probably a really good set to get teacher feedback on, because it'll be much more developed.
Then we see a question here from Mark Cole about open collaborative space considered along the spine of each classroom wing. Where the classroom wings kind of come together, there's a corridor that runs north and south, and there's another corridor that runs east and west. So where those corridors sort of intersect, we're sort of envisioning that area as maybe collaboration spaces. And then I see the next question. Okay, advocating for Robert Smalls. Yeah, so this was a comment that came up during the first community meeting, and we think this is a really great idea, and it's something that we're definitely going to keep tracking as we go through this. So I think in terms of reaching out to somebody from the school, probably someone from the school district, we can take a look at. Contact for that for the Sons of the Masonic Lodge.
I think, Nikos, we're going to direct all questions to Dr. Levan, and then we'll loop in through that. Patricia asked, will sidewalks be put in on the main road for our students who walk to and from school? Yes, that is part of the plan that has been requested. I believe there's some existing sidewalks, but that there will be improvements made to them. Connor and Josh, is that correct?
Thanks, Cameron. Yeah, that is correct. I believe the plan presented didn't have all the sidewalks in there. That's still kind of being worked through and designed in the process. But great question. We absolutely want to provide interconnectivity and safe pedestrian passage with walkways.
Great. And then Mary asked, how will W.K. Alston be honored in the school? So we anticipate that W.K. Alston, that his history and his legacy and some of his teachings will be captured in the timeline, number one, so that history will be part of this. And then we're also thinking about other ways to incorporate some of his, some of the photographs from his era and other pieces of that history in other parts of the building. So one thing that we are going to be doing in the future, we're going to organize some meetings through Dr. Levan to sit down with the Robert Smalls Association so that we can really nail down which pieces of history we think are most important and some other ways that we can incorporate him into the design.
Yeah, okay. And then I see a question here concerning cost, of course. So I'd say, right now, since we have J.E. Dunn has been selected as the construction manager for this project, we have just given them our 50% design development set, and they're working on a pricing for this for this project. So I think that's something that we're continuing to work through. And something that we're going to get a little more information in the coming months.
All right. Are there any other questions this time? There will be, well, we have Dr. Levan's contact is listed at the end of the presentation. But if there's no more comments or questions, then I think we're going to turn over to Ms. Coleman.
We cannot tell you how much we appreciate your participation this evening and how important it is moving forward. As previously mentioned, we'll be posting the meeting recording on our district and school website, as well as YouTube. We have saved your answers to the poll questions and chat comments, which will be compiled into a report and shared with the community. Your feedback tonight will directly influence the next phase of design and construction of our new school, Robert Smalls International Academy. We have heard some incredible feedback tonight and would love to continue to hear from you even more. Please use the contact listed on the screen to submit any additional questions or comments you have from tonight's presentation. Any comments or questions received by 5 p.m. on Thursday, November the 19th, again, that's 5 p.m. on Thursday, November the 19th, will be included and answered in the final community meeting report and posted for your reference. We will continue to provide updates on the design and construction of our new school throughout the process. Thank you again for your time and have a wonderful evening. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all.